My story begins in Bronxville, New York, 1948. My father, Frank Abagnale Jr., was my hero. A respected businessman who taught me the power of appearances. He always dressed sharply, carried himself with confidence, and showed me that people see what you want them to see. My mother, Paulette, was a beautiful French woman. Together, they seemed to have it all. I was one of 4 children, growing up in what felt like a perfect home. My father involved me in his business, teaching me how to negotiate and present myself. I learned early that a uniform commands respect, and a confident smile can disarm suspicion. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming in my parents' marriage. I didn't see the changes coming. Those early years quietly prepared me for a life that would become anything but quiet. My story was just beginning. Everything changed when I was 16. My parents' divorce shattered my world. My father's business was failing. And suddenly, I was forced to choose between my parents in court. I couldn't do it. Instead, I ran, leaving my family and old life behind. With only a few dollars in my pocket, I set out alone, scared and desperate. Life on the streets was harsh. I slept in train stations, struggled to find food, and quickly realized no one wanted to hire a 16-year-old runaway. My youthful appearance was a problem. To survive, I had to look older, someone who belonged. This was the turning point. I started creating new identities. I learned that without an identity, you're invisible. So, I decided to become somebody, anybody. My life of deception began not out of malice, but out of heartbreak and necessity. I missed my father and the security of home, but there was no going back. The world was unforgiving, and I had to adapt fast. I realized that confidence and a convincing story could get me what I needed. I became a master of appearances, learning to blend in wherever I went. The pain of my family's breakup drove me forward. I wasn't a criminal by nature. I was a lost kid trying to survive. But survival meant becoming someone else. And that's exactly what I did. My first scams were born out of hunger and desperation. I started with small-time check fraud, but my youthful looks made people suspicious. So, I altered my driver's license, making myself 10 years older overnight. Suddenly, I was treated with respect, and my scams became easier. I learned everything about checks, routing numbers, account numbers, magnetic ink. I printed my own payroll checks, making them look authentic. The key was confidence. If you look and act the part, people believe you. I opened multiple bank accounts, floating bad checks from one to another, always staying a step ahead. This was my education in deception and social engineering. I learned to read people, gain their trust, and manipulate expectations. A uniform, I realized, was the ultimate disguise. People trust authority, especially when it looks the part. Why settle for pretending to be a regular person? Why not aim higher? That's when I set my sights on impersonating someone with real power. Someone who could go anywhere. Someone who could fly for free. My ambitions and my cons were about to take off. My first big impersonation was as a Pan Am pilot. I got a uniform, made a fake ID, and became First Officer Frank Williams. For nearly 2 years, I traveled the world, deadheading on flights, staying in luxury hotels, and living the high life, all without ever flying a plane. The uniform opened every door. After a close call, I switched roles, posing as a doctor in Georgia. I landed a job as a supervising resident, relying on interns to do the real work while I signed papers and looked important. It was stressful, but I managed to avoid disaster. Next, I became a lawyer in Louisiana, forging a Harvard Law transcript, and even passing the bar exam on my 3rd try. My job was mostly research, but for a while, I was Robert Black, Harvard-educated attorney. Each role taught me that people want to believe a good story. If you look the part and act the part, they rarely question you. The thrill was addictive, but the risks kept growing. I was always one step away from being caught. My life became a series of performances, each more daring than the last. The world was my stage, and I played every part. But the curtain was about to fall. The chase was closing in. While I lived these fantasy lives, the FBI was closing in. Agent Joseph Shea, called Hanratty in the movie, became obsessed with catching me. He connected the dots, the fake pilot, the bad checks, the trail of deception. It became a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. I'd settle in a new city, then disappear when I sensed the FBI getting close. There were close calls. Once, I even convinced agents I was Secret Service, helping them search for myself. The chase went international as my scam spread overseas. Hanratty and I even spoke on the phone one lonely Christmas Eve. He promised he'd catch me, and I believed him. The pressure was immense. I was always looking over my shoulder. In a strange way, Hanratty was the only person who truly knew me. But I knew my luck couldn't last forever. My run ended in 1969, in Montpellier, France. An old girlfriend recognized me from a wanted poster and turned me in. French police arrested me quietly. No chase, just relief that it was finally over. I was 21, and my 5-year spree had ended. Prison in France was brutal. Dark, filthy, and isolating. I grew sick and weak, facing the true cost of my crimes. After 6 months, I was extradited to Sweden, where prison was humane, but my freedom was still gone. Eventually, I was handed over to the Americans. Agent Shea escorted me back to the United States. The chase was over. Now I had to face the consequences. The flight home was surreal. My pursuer, now my escort. I was no longer a ghost, but a prisoner. My life of deception had caught up with me. The next chapter would be about paying for my past. Redemption, if it was possible, would have to be earned. Back in the US, I was sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. Prison was tough, but my skills hadn't been forgotten. The FBI faced new waves of fraud and needed help. They offered me a deal. Early release if I worked for them, using my expertise to catch other forgers. I accepted without hesitation. It was a chance at redemption. Transitioning from inmate to consultant wasn't easy. Agents didn't trust me at first. I had to prove myself, teaching them how con artists think and operate. Slowly, I earned their respect. The man they once hunted became their secret weapon. This unlikely partnership marked the start of my second chance. I was finally using my skills for good. Redemption was within reach. Working with the FBI was the start of my new life. I helped design secure checks and anti-fraud protocols still used today. After my obligation ended, I started my own security consulting company. At first, no one wanted to hire an ex-con, but I proved my worth, one bank at a time. Word spread, and soon I was a respected authority on fraud prevention. I found personal happiness too, marrying Kelly and raising 3 sons. My life became one of honesty, not lies. My family is my greatest accomplishment. The trust I now have is worth more than all the money I ever stole. My past doesn't define me, but it taught me the value of redemption. My story is a warning about deception, but also a message of hope. Anyone can change, no matter how far they've fallen. Honesty is the foundation of a meaningful life, and a second chance is priceless.